Motivation is like a drug. It feels great at the start, but eventually it fades away, and you're just left wanting more. The only difference is that you can't just get more motivation. It sort of just comes and goes. You can't control it, and if you can control it, that's not called motivation. It's actually called discipline. But before we get more into this topic, I would like everyone to know that this actually came from the comment section, and I wanted to do this as a thank you for 50,000 subscribers. You guys are insane. And part 2 of the 50,000 celebration is I made a Discord server. That's right. It's actually in the description below if you would like to join it, and also in the card in the top right. So just click over there, join up, and yeah, I'll be on today, and let's have a conversation. And now back to motivation. Motivation is one of those things I've struggled with for quite some time. Honestly, I don't think I've ever not struggled with motivation. And the struggle with motivation especially came when I started doing YouTube. Because the reality is I wasn't good enough at YouTube for it to work for me. And when something doesn't work very well for you, you tend to not want to do it as much. Especially true when it comes to YouTube, right? For example, my old channel, I used to have these cycles of making like 5 videos and then disappearing for months at a time. And the reason for that was pretty simple. I was motivated those first 5 videos. I wanted to keep doing it. And by the time those videos ended, I wanted nothing to do with it because, plain and simple, I wasn't succeeding. And that's the difference between the YouTubers that succeed and the ones that don't. That's why you see a bunch of new creators flop very quickly after they start their initial rise to fame or whatever. The reality is you can have as much Monday motivation from Joey Diaz telling you to wake up and get your shit together, but it's not going to matter in the end. Nobody but yourself can get you up. You can read a bunch of self-help books on how to stay motivated. You can read a bunch of whatever the hell. You can't seek motivation because it won't come to you. Motivation comes to you when it wants to appear. And this is not, of course, a science. This is me kind of just talking about my experience. I don't know if you can really make motivation show up. I haven't found the way, and honestly, I'm not looking for the way. And the reason for that is because I've found discipline. Discipline is the only real way you can combat lack of motivation. An example of this is if you do something every day, like clockwork, and you don't miss a day, you don't skip a beat, odds are you're going to do it regardless of whether you're happy, sad, angry, or any other of the following emotions that make you not want to do things. For example, if you brush your teeth Hi there, creeper boy. Want to get off my fucking house? All right, come on, buddy. Come on. I know you want to... Yep, come here. Yep. Sorry, guys. We have a technical difficulty here called this guy wants to blow up my house. Yeah. Well, he kind of blew up my house or my mountain. Anyway, so as I was saying, let's say you brush your teeth every day, twice a day, without skipping a beat. Chances are you have that locked exactly at the specific time you brush your teeth every night. And it makes you just do it. That feeling of just, hey, I should be doing this, makes you want to do it. On the other side of that coin, if you never brush your teeth and you're motivated to brush your teeth once, out of just sheer luck of the draw that today you're going to brush your teeth, you end up forgetting that you did it in the first place. You end up not doing it later on. You end up just slacking and not doing it, and that's why your teeth rot out of your mouth eventually. And that's just kind of true with everything. You might be motivated today, but tomorrow you're not. But if you build a habit out of doing something, regardless of whether or not you're motivated, that's kind of how success happens in life. And if you struggle to build a discipline and good habits, there's a great book, by the way, that I recommend you read. It's called Atomic Habits. I'm not going to spoil what it's about, but it basically helps you with that whole discipline motivation thing. I'll keep that in the description below. So to sort of come full circle with the motivation question, the answer to how do I stay motivated is that I don't. I don't stay motivated. In fact, I'm very unmotivated a lot of the time. Oh, wait, we have dark oak in fucking 1.7? Oh, I'm going for the dark oak, buddy. The reality is I don't stay motivated, not for too long. And it sucks because being motivated very much helps you do things. Very much helps you succeed in certain aspects of your life. But unfortunately, that's not the case for me. And I think the reason for my lack of motivation is usually lack of success. Lack of actual visible, tangible numbers that I can, put down and talk about. I think I'm going to change entirely what I was doing with my house now because of this dark oak forest. If you're not seeing results, it's hard to stay motivated. And the reality of life is, in most cases, you won't see results. The instant gratification that you get from a bunch of things these days kind of has ruined that for my generation. You know, the constant dopamine hits of TikTok and YouTube and all the social medias. Those are measure instant gratification success. And when we don't get that in life from anything else, it's hard to really want to do anything else. For example, if you're working a job that's like, let's say you're working construction and you get satisfaction out of the fact that you finished a job. And finishing a job like, let's say road work, road construction. I'm sure that one is a pain in the ass. Road construction that takes forever. The reality is, if you're working in construction, it takes a while to get that gratification. Now, the good thing with something like that is that it's a job, right? You get paid for doing your job, you make money on it, and therefore you have a reason to stay motivated to do this job. Even if you hate it, it pays your bills. But let's say you actually enjoy being a construction worker, and you enjoy what you do, and you enjoy how it helps society. If it takes you a month to fix this pothole in the road, you're going to feel good about it. You're going to feel fulfilled. If it takes you a year, you might feel like you want to die, because you just don't want to deal with the fact that you have to continue this job that's dragging and you have to go do things because you messed up and you just lose it. You just don't want to do it anymore. But if you're a disciplined construction worker, you're going to see that job through because you have to feed your family and you have responsibilities and a bunch of other stuff. And the gratification at the end of that job, after having dealt with said discipline, is going to be 10 times better than the gratification that you get from Instagram, TikTok, or anything else for that matter. But you kind of just have to battle through it. Oh my God. Am I going to die pretty soon? I think I'm going to die very soon because I have no food and there's no animals anywhere near. I guess I can cook this chicken. But anyway, I think I've given enough examples as to how motivation works and why. Oh, I think we're at the point of death. Hold on. There has to be something in here. Let's see if I can cook this fast enough. See, right now, my character is not motivated to live because he's run out of hunger. Think of motivation as the Minecraft hunger bar. It just runs out eventually, right? But with the discipline of me cooking my food, I don't die. And now I need to go find more discipline of finding food because I'm going to die a horrible death once more. Discipline is a very different animal. Discipline is where motivation ends. And I don't know. I feel like an imposter talking about this topic because it just doesn't feel like I am disciplined. I feel like I always have this issue of not being able to do things that I don't want to do. And I'm sure a lot of you share that sentiment. I'm sure you also have that problem. But on a grand scale, you can see how big of an issue that is. One thing I will say that I was disciplined in always is school. I always was good at doing my work when it came to school because I liked the dopamine hit of getting a good grade and how my mother or my father would react to me getting good grades. So I guess a big part of discipline is you need to reward yourself somehow. And it could be small things. Let's say you're struggling to do a certain type of paperwork at your job. It's just this form that you have to fill out and you hate filling it out because it's boring and it takes too fucking long. So to combat that, maybe every time you finish a piece of paperwork or a piece of whatever you're doing, you give yourself a treat. It could be a donut. It could be candy. It could be a sip of your coffee. It could be anything. Now the trick with this is that you have to make it just a little too hard to obtain. Like you have to put it behind a cabinet, or you have to give it to one of your coworkers to give it to you after you show them proof. Something like that. For me, I have one of these things called Royal Milk Tea. Not sponsored, but I would love to be sponsored by Royal Milk Tea. And it's basically this little can of milk tea that just is so simple and tastes really good. And I drink one whenever I'm done. Whenever I finish a project, whenever I want to kick back and relax and give myself a pat on the back for doing something. And you might come back to me and say, this makes no sense because you need to have the discipline to not drink that tea before you finish your work. Yes, it's kind of a catch-22 in that sense. But, like I said, if you get another person involved, like your coworker or your mom or your dad or your friend to help you gain that discipline, eventually you won't need them and you'll be able to do things on your own without requiring a second hand to assist you in something that you should theoretically be able to do on your own. Okay, I'm like, seriously, I can't run. Oh, by the way, I figured out the glass issue. Thanks, comment section, because my dumbass could not figure out for the life of me that I had to do this to make the glass. Yeah, there it is. I'm going to start doing that now. So to summarize how I stayed disciplined, I guess it's more of I just use a bunch of tips and tricks that I learned on my way to this point in life. There really isn't one straight up answer. You sort of just have to find your way with it. For you, discipline might mean getting up in the morning. Or for you, discipline might mean doing 7 hours of uninterrupted work. Or for you, discipline might mean brushing your teeth at night. There's so many levels and things that you have to do for that to fully work for you, right? The one thing I know for sure is that you have to give yourself time to develop it. It all takes time in the end. But in any case, if you manage to build up that discipline, you will have eternal motivation. Because as I said in the title and thumbnail, motivation is temporary, discipline is forever. Thank you for 50,000 subscribers. Good night and good luck.